Welcome back, everybody. We appreciate you joining us. My name is Jessica. I'm joined with Suzanne Porsky and Rochelle Harp here on Dime to Diamonds. Any questions you have from today's show, our discussions, topics, please give us a call. It's no cost, no obligation to sit down with Suzanne and begin the conversation. That's 918-890-8311, 918-890-8311. And, of course, the website, dimetodiamondsradio.com. If you are a fan of golf, I'm sure that you were glued to your television a few weeks ago for the Masters. And if you know anything about the Masters, and of course, Augusta's National, they are serious about protecting its turf. I mean, when I say serious, folks, I mean, if it rains there, I don't know if you know this, but they have like these things under the turf. It like sucks the water out. You know, they make sure it's perfect year-round, day after day, hour after hour. And they're so serious about this turf that they usually end up buying the land surrounding it. They've actually spent nearly $300 million buying neighborhoods. And a lot of folks walk away. They're millionaires overnight. They say, this is great. Let's do it. Then you have folks like Herman and Elizabeth Thacker, the Thackers, right? They have recently passed. They absolutely said they would not sell the home. Their daughter now lives there, and she says she's not selling unless the price is right. So now the house is essentially like a legacy asset. So how should retirees think about passing on a home to their heirs? Is this even a smart move?
Well, you know, this is one of those really simple decisions. It sounds simple, but financially it can get really complicated really, really fast. So from a tax standpoint, there's a real benefit when someone inherits a home. Typically, they're able to receive the step-up basis, which means they can sell it and they're only taxed on the increase in the value from the date that they inherited to when they actually sell it, not on what it was originally purchased for by the family. So at that point, you know, we're mitigating capital gains. But when it comes to helping clients look beyond just that tax benefit and think through the full picture, because I don't think a home it's not a liquid asset. So it comes with real ongoing costs such as property taxes, insurance, maintenance. And then there's multiple heirs, so that can create some tough decisions. So instead of just asking our clients, like, should we leave the house? I think it's really important to ask, what is the outcome do we want for the family? These key decisions make up what works not just from a tax standpoint, but what is practical from a family standpoint. And I think that's the real question that we want to discuss here.
Right. So I'm going to get my soapbox on. Right, hold on a sec. Get on top of it here. That is it. What is our end game? What is your outcome that you're wanting? Is it the cash of it? That is where the soapbox comes in, that you have to get a trust. I cannot say it enough, because you are helping everybody and everything so much. When you get a trust, you put the house in the trust name. You're telling your executor how you want your wishes executed. When she finally sells it, the daughter, let's just go back to her story, she's going to have those capital gains, and it's going to be a hit. And then is she going to be older? And then she's going to have Irma, and she's going to have all these other things that are taking place. So that's where we say, gosh, let's have those conversations. Not if you should leave the house, but what outcome do you want for your family? What is the bigger picture here? And then inside of that trust, leave the home with clear instructions. You're able to have your wishes absolutely executed in whichever way that you want, if you have a trust in place.
Yeah, well, I think it goes back to like what we talk about all the time, which is having a plan and being able to execute that plan in the most efficient way possible. And large assets like this, a trust is very, very beneficial because it avoids probate, which is one of the things that we've talked about many, many times. You have experience with that.
The only way to transfer a titled asset in the United States of America is either through a judge, a court order, or a trust. When my 54-year-old brother-in-law was found, he had passed away. He didn't have a trust. There was no need for it. He wasn't married, had no children. This is him, not me saying this. Just had a house. Didn't need it. Well, we had to go through probate. So when you go through probate, because we needed to sell the house, we had the expenses. We had to pay the mortgage, pay the insurance, homeowners insurance. I say all that to say we wanted to mourn the loss of Scott, and instead we were having to deal with all this in hand over fist, handing out money. And because we had to go to probate, and then probate's very public. It has to be put in the newspaper. It has to run for 30 or 60 days, depending on your county. And then they have another hearing, and those people that read the newspaper show up. And then it's all this where we walk our clients through all the decisions, not just financially, but the practicality of it in all the emotions. So there's no surprises anywhere. And it's an easier transition when they lose their loved one. We had a client, I was looking at their portfolio, and they had 17 rental properties. And they were getting pretty tired of them as well, but said, no, we're in it. This is for our kids and our grandkids. So I said, okay, before our next meeting, this is your homework. I want you to go and sit down with the family at Sunday dinner, and I want you to ask them if they want, tell them your plans, if they want those properties. And they came back and they said, not one out of 17 properties, not one kid, one grandchild, nobody wanted it. They said, now we need to start working with you and Rochelle and start liquidating these because we're in our late 70s and we don't like the upkeep and the maintenance and the cost of all these investments. And that we're doing it for our kids that don't even want these. They would rather just have the investment. That's where you need to have those conversations.
Yeah, I think that's crucial there, that everyone has that conversation. Everyone's on the same page. I know with both of my parents, it's been very like, hey, behind this drawer, there's this red folder. Here's everything, and here's who you call, and et cetera. So it's really important everyone have that conversation. And you're exactly right talking about those rental properties where the parents thought, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. We're going to pass this down. They're going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And the kids are like, please don't leave us with a problem. A lot of people don't realize that, even to a couple years ago with the Secure Act 2.0 when that came into effect. And a lot of people thought, oh, I'll pass my 401k or my IRA down to my kids. That's an absolute tax bomb that you're putting in their lap, right, guys?
Yep, absolutely. And so that's where you need to have those conversations because it's an ever-changing landscape.
It is, and it always will be. But when you have a proactive plan in place, you're able to deviate and make choices and changes as you need to go, but you're not being reactive to anything that might just be a emotional-driven change from a headline or something like that.
And I love when our clients just keep us in the loop of life. Text, hey, this is what's going on. Good. Or, hey, I'm thinking about getting a new car for her. Can you look at the balances? Can you see when would be a good time this year? Should I wait till next year or should I wait till whatever? And I'm like, it's so nice to be a part of it. Like we put the plan together and then we're able to really have that conversation. And that's why I left the bigger box firms as much as I loved working for, a larger institution and, check in and out every day. I love being a business owner now because I can be totally involved as much as they want me and share. And like with us, we work together and that doesn't really happen with bigger firms.
Suzanne, Rochelle, you guys work really well together, especially on these topics of, planning for whether it's taxes in retirement, income in retirement, like this example here, passing down a home to your heirs and what a tax bomb that is. Explain to me for those listening right now that are thinking, okay, I want to come in, I want to make sure, exactly how things are laid out for me, be it income, taxes, a legacy. What's the process when they come in to sit down with you, Suzanne, or both of you, Suzanne and Rochelle? Break that down for me as a first appointment.
Well, they come in and we start with where are you at right now? What are some of the biggest concerns? What's keeping you up at night? What are your questions? And we will answer those questions until I can look them in the eye and I feel like they really understand. Because I will keep saying, did you understand that? And they kind of go, sort of. Okay, then let me explain it again because this is my native language, like yours, right? Mm-hmm. This is our native language. And so we don't profess to know exactly how you're going to understand it, but we're going to talk about it till you understand. So that's what we do. We kind of find out where you're at now, where they want to be. We do ask, hey, bring your tax returns in because that's where we're able to really kind of just do a quick little x-ray and look, kind of like when people bring in their medications to a doctor and then the doctor starts asking questions. That's what we do. And then we just find out what's important to you. And then that's when we can start taking and building that roadmap. Same as like my travel agent. Where do you want to go? What does that look like for you? What do you want to experience? And that's where we're find out so many times, Jess, that people want to live. And as soon as it seems like that, especially that first year of retirement, they're frozen. They don't want to spend anything. They're so worried that they're going to run out of money. And some of them, generally, yes, we definitely need to have this conversation because you're not in the best of place financially. But I've never had a hopeless client.
Well, nobody is ever hopeless. It's always about starting where you're at today and working towards whatever that goal is. And we can work with people in any type of fashion, right? Because what you have today is probably more than you realize. And then we work efficiently and effectively to identify how to get them to where they want to go. And a lot of people are probably surprised in what we can identify within just looking back at 2 years of tax returns or you looking at some of their accounts and different things and how we can strategically tweak a few small little things that make a really big impact to, their quality of life and what they actually want to do. And sometimes, like you said, they're afraid to spend the money. But after you talk with us and after we can show you some of the numbers and we can show you the numbers of how they're going to continue to look, you get that comfort level of, okay, maybe I'm not going to run out of money and I can go ahead and go on that trip and this is what I want to do. And sometimes it's just having somebody literally ask you that question of what is it that you want to do? Because all the time I feel we're always doing stuff for other people. We're always thinking about what somebody else wants or how can we help that person. How many times do we all sit back and say, Rochelle, what is it that you actually want to do today?
Right. I think the biggest obstacle is how much money we charge, which is
zero.
I know people go, wait, you don't charge anything? No. We do not charge anything. We do not have consultation fees. That is one of the obstacles we have to come across because there's people that aren't like us in that way. They just have to reach out to us. They have to give us a call, get on our books, come in and see us. Let us know if you want to talk to one or both of us. We run a pretty tight ship as far as that goes, and we will give you a free hour. We were doing a half hour, and I didn't feel like we had enough time from our radio listeners to do that. So we went ahead today and opened that up for 1 hour at a time. So
yeah, this is of interest to you folks and you're listening going, I didn't know that, or why has no one told me that, or oh my gosh, I got to fix this. This is where this complimentary consultation comes in, either with Suzanne or Rochelle or both of them. You pick. It's an hour. It's complimentary. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of time. Again, that phone number is 918-890-8311, 918-890-8311. And that website, dimetodiamondsradio.com. Coming up in just a moment, what if I told you that you could actually boost your 401k savings by 22%? I'll explain. Stick with us.
The people at JP Morgan found that if you have a steady, reliable paycheck coming in every month in retirement, you'll worry less and spend more. And that's what Suzanne Porsky and the team at Phoenix Financial Group have been doing for years. Find out what they can do for you. Call today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting. 918-890-8311. That's 918-890-8311. Or visit dimetodiamondsradio.com and get it done with Phoenix Financial Group.
Welcome back. This is Dime to Diamonds. That phone number, 918-890-8311. The website, of course, dimetodiamondsradio.com. Let's jump back to it here. I saw a headline recently that read, boost your 401k savings by 22%. So you can imagine, caught my attention there. The idea was simple. People aren't saving enough in their 401ks. So the solution is make their money grow faster. Enter something called a managed account. It means more professional money managers, more aggressive strategies, and hopefully more return. The article also said that there's another more in there, and they're talking about more fees. So when you do a fee analysis, what do you usually find, Suzanne?
You know what? That headline sounds great on the surface, but what happens is when we unpack it, there's a lot going on underneath it. And that's what I find. I find a lot of fees. And that's what I try to tell people when they're coming in here and they say, well, I just took my 401k from my former employer and I rolled it to my the newest employer. No. Because when we do those fee analyses, that people have no idea how much money that they're paying. And I'm not saying that to be critical by any means at all. It's just to be transparent. So you have the custodian that gets their fees. You have the administrator that gets their fees. And when you're with an employer, they need that HR person needs to have that company doing all that for them. I am not going to say names, but you know who I'm talking about, people. You've got your 401k provider and they're charging the fees. Well, then you've got inside of that, whether they're mutual funds or I see people that say, oh, I'm in the 2040 retirement 2040 portfolio. You've got portfolio managers. You've got fees on fees on fees. In my years of experience, I have never seen a client that hasn't been shocked just taking in kind. So we leave it in the same kind of how it is distributed in that portfolio at that 401k, the same kind of stocks or whatever. We move it over away from that administrator and they go, oh my gosh, I made so much money. I go, actually, look, it's the fees. That's what's missing out of here. In a typical 401k, especially when you add, like I said, those managed accounts, you're stacking those fees layer upon layer. So you've got investment fund expenses, plan administrator fees, and advisory or managed account fees. So what starts as professional management can quietly turn into about 1.5% to 2.5%. And that's where people are seeing that increase. They see that bump up in their statement after we get that moved out from the administrator. So just as like we tell people, give us some time to educate you, which will empower you to make a decision that you're going to be, most comfortable with. That's all I'm asking.
Well, and I think the real question that you want to ask the clients is, are you getting a corresponding level of value for the fees that you're paying? Right? So because paying the fee isn't the actual problem, it's just paying a fee without strategy that has tax planning and income coordination. That creates the problem because it's not all working together as one unit. And that, I think, is what you help provide is a plan and a path that is cohesive, that works together to the best benefit of the client.
Right. It's a holistic approach. One of the smartest financial moves I think anybody can make is to get that 401k money moved immediately after separating from the employer. If they don't, and I'm talking to you if you're listening, if you don't know what choices are best for you, start doing your research. More than anything, give us a call. Let us sit down with you and educate you on the different options. And let me explain what is an ETF, what is a mutual fund, what are some of these words and languages, and then how do they charge their fees? How does a managed account look? Because often they're not familiar with it. It's not their bus seat. And that's kind of, what I try to explain to them. And you've got, if you've got increased equity exposure, you've got more risk. If you're using standardized models, they're not personalized to you in your time horizon. And we really like to, if some of them are focused on accumulation, that's great. Like I say, what gets you to retirement is not going to get you through. So let's talk about, when do you want retirement? When do you need to start pulling out of those straight accumulations? So we have money that we're able to distribute as a paycheck for you once you get into retirement. So fairly possible they can see higher returns by just a little bit of education and a plan in place.
Really, at the end of the day, you guys have pointed out several times here, it's about focusing on what you can control, right? Your risk exposure, your taxes, your fees, of course, income planning there. And that is, of course, the bigger picture. And this is all a part of that picture as well, this full fee and risk analysis. Again, Suzanne, you just did a great job of going over that, keeping more of what you make, reducing that risk, and turning it into reliable income. If this sounds like a no-brainer to you, you want to come in for this complimentary full fee and risk analysis, call right now. That phone number, 918-890-8311. That's 918-890-8311. And of course, that website, dimetodiamondsradio.com.
And so from my perspective, I'll say this. If boosting your 401k by 22% comes from taking a little more risk and paying more fees, I don't know that that's a strategy that someone would want as a trade-off for that additional risk. I think a better approach would be focused on what you can control, which are your fees. We can control how it's going to impact our taxes. We can control our risk exposure, and we can use it to do income planning so that we're able to optimize what really happens for our clients.
If you've never had a true fee analysis done, I'm talking to you, friends that are listening to this. That's one of the most valuable things that you can do for yourself, because what you don't see is costing you. So contact us and get it on our schedule. Let us do this. Absolutely no obligation, no cost fee analysis. Look at your statements, bring them in, bring everything you could possibly think, and keep it in a folder. So if I ask you the questions, or Rochelle does, you'll have them handy. If you don't, we can always set up a second appointment and you'll know what to do. We're really good at giving homework, right?
Yes.
Again, this is for that full fee and risk analysis. Again, that phone number, 918-890-8311. That's 918-890-8311. And again, that website, dimetodiamondsradio.com. Now, if it's your first time joining us here for Dime to Diamonds, you may have heard Suzanne or even Rochelle say, hey, ladies, we're talking to you out there. And that is a pivotal moment of each show you're going to hear about each and every week here, because helping women is something that both Suzanne and Rochelle, you guys really are passionate about. And this is something you're really passionate about, you really focus on. It's not that you're not going to help men. Let me put that disclaimer out there. Anybody and everybody's welcome. But something that you focus on is helping women that are single, widowed, what have you. Explain to me why this is such a big deal for you.
Well, because right now there's this huge transition going on, and it's statistically, I mean, it's happening that men transition before women. And so we've got this huge transfer of wealth that's happening. And I've seen it coming for years. And then when I talk to other male advisors that are my friends, they are losing. Like one of my dear friends in another state, he said at one of the conferences we were at 4 weeks ago, he said, man, I've lost 7 or 8 of them just recently, clients. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, the husband's passed away and the women, they've taken their business and they're gone. And he said, I don't know what to do. And I said, oh, because women were different in the way you talk to the man and how you were building that portfolio isn't going to resonate with her. We're different. And it's not that there's a better way, good, bad, indifferent. We're just different. And so it's always been on my heart. And I think I touched on this on other episodes. June 2nd, 2013, I fled a 25-year abusive marriage. And when I went to that woman's shelter, fled a 4,300 square foot custom built home, everybody thought we just had the perfect life, perfect family, perfect everything. And here I'm in this woman's shelter, and I didn't have the bruises, the stitches, and the broken bones or anything. I was inside emotionally and mentally, I was in a bad spot. I was at a very low place in my life. And I thought, how did I get here? And I knew I financially did not know a way out. And this has been my industry for decades, but I didn't know how to apply it to myself. And let me also say on a totally different note, I had some self-worth issues. And so coupled with that, I met some other people in there. And then in 2017 into 2018, work with the Purple Purse Foundation, which is Serena Williams. And that's when I learned this statistic, 98.6% of people will not leave an abusive or an unhealthy relationship if they don't know financially a way out. And really just that's when I felt the calling and thought, you know what, I'm going to do everything I can to educate people because then it empowers us to live our best life. And that is why this radio program is for you ladies. It has taken 7 years of me fighting and standing and telling people women will listen to women. And I believe there's enough amazing men out there that will listen to women as well, that love their spouses and they want to make sure when something happens to them that they are taken care of and they've got somebody that's on their side that's going to protect them and educate them. And so that is where Phoenix Financial came from. And then I have been blessed enough to meet someone like Rochelle, and we click. She cares just as deeply as I do. And she holds that tax piece that I know how to mitigate taxes, and I've got the report. She carries it out for them. And we don't charge anything when we sit down with people. They feel like they've got somebody on their side when and if something happens. And, you know, I did get remarried, and October 31st last year, out of nowhere, my husband had a significant stroke. And just being in the ICU and on that ward and then in the rehab centers and talking to the women, they were just beside themselves. Not only was their person injured and going through this life-changing situation, financially, they had so many questions. And that's why I kept thinking, I have to get a bigger platform to talk to women. They have to know that there's somebody out here. I'm sure there's a lot of us out there. We just haven't, we haven't all got together, right, Rochelle?
Correct.
We would like to build this tribe of women that are in this industry that we can continue to educate and say, hey, we're here for you no matter what you're going through. Wherever you are at or whatever you've been through, we know we've been there and we can get you to where you want to go.
So my story is a little bit different, Jess. A few years ago, I went out and decided to open up my own CPA firm. But I've been very, very fortunate and very blessed to have a lot of male individuals who have either invested time, knowledge, or just trusted me to, do their tax returns. But that first year, one of the individuals that came in was an elderly woman who came to my office crying because she had gone to the prior CPA, an individual, in another city, far, far away from here, where she had lived. And he made her feel stupid, and he made her feel like she didn't know what she was doing, and she kept apologizing because she didn't know what she needed to bring in. And I said, don't worry about that. We'll figure it out. We'll get all the information we need. It's okay. Her husband, who had taken care of this for probably 40, 50 years, was now going to a memory facility because he no longer was able to function. So not only did she have to move to a whole new city, she had to take her husband, the man she loves, takes him somewhere to leave him, go back home, and then handle all of this financial stuff that she's never been a part of, and that someone wasn't patient enough with her to let her just open up and say, here, let me help you through this. That is why I encourage my male clients to bring their wives in. I don't care if they understand the tax terminology. I don't care if they understand what documents they're bringing into me. I just want to be able to build that relationship so when that time comes, if it ever comes, hopefully it doesn't, they're comfortable coming and saying, hey, I don't know what to do next, but I know that you'll help me, and we can walk through and not have that additional emotional burden put onto them. So that is why I'm very passionate about educating women on financial information.
And being a resource for them.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being a resource. And let's be honest, sometimes as a woman, it's easier just to talk to a woman about some things. So again, you've heard both the stories here from both Suzanne and Rochelle, why they're so passionate about helping women out there. Again, anybody and everybody is welcome through this door to get help. This is just also another avenue to let our listeners know if you're out there, you're a woman that's looking for somebody that understands how you think, how you talk, can understand your emotions a little bit more than a man could. This could possibly be a fit for you. Again, that phone number, 918-890-8311. That website, dimetodiamondsradio.com. That is going to do it for us here this week. We appreciate you joining us. We hope to hear from you. Have a good one.
Yes, we appreciate you listening to us. Thank you so much. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We're here for you, ladies, and for you, men. If there is a way that we can reach your significant other, your loved one, that you want to make sure that she has a safe place where she can come in and ask the questions and talk or whatever, let us know. We are here for you. I want to wish you guys all a great rest of your weekend.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us on your weekend, and I hope that you take away some of the powerful information and go out and apply it. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Phoenix Financial Group has a strategic partnership with Rochelle Harp at Harp Accounting, who can provide tax advice. The strategic partner herein is not employed by Phoenix Financial Group. Neither Phoenix Financial Group nor IPW are affiliated with Harp Accounting. Any and all other services offered by the Harp Accounting are not offered through or supervised by IPW. Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Phoenix Financial Group, LLC. Phoenix Financial Group, LLC is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Phoenix Financial Group, LLC are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Phoenix Financial Group, LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Phoenix Financial Group, LLC. This radio show is a paid placement.